Mike's not on. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. The Majors Live episode. What are we at? What are we at, Dorf?
317.
317. Here on TMSNX Radio, themajors.net. I started thinking about something else as we were getting ready to go on, and all of a sudden, I fucked things up right away. Anyways, like I said, welcome everybody to episode 317 here on TMSNX Radio, themajors.net. I am your host, Adam Hernandez. Across from me is Dorf. To my right is Shawn. And everybody's waving. Everybody's having a good time. Yay. Great. Let's get into it.
We're only 40 minutes late tonight.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter. We're having fun. That's all that matters. Jeez, Dorf. Gosh, don't be a Debbie Downer.
On your parade. I'm sorry.
I like what you're doing, though, Shawn. You're turning around your hat to show your Baltimore Orioles, you know.
Yeah, I know.
On the front. What I'm going to do, because this kind of fits in with the show tonight, I'm going to go ahead and turn my hat around, too, because we do live in Detroit. And I am wearing a
guys are both traitors.
Toronto Blue Jays hat.
You bastards.
Shawn's got the Baltimore Orioles hat on, although he has the wrong one. That's not the one I would get.
Hey,
in fact, that's probably the worst.
No, it's not.
That's probably the worst Baltimore Orioles one that you can get.
You guys are doing radio for two again.
Yours is the worst Toronto Blue Jay, the white one. You should have got the white one. It's way better than the blue one.
The Red Sunday hat.
Shut up.
Yeah, stop talking. This is a two-way show now.
I'm sorry, Dorf. I don't want... Dorf, you can chime in when we talk about the hats. Go ahead.
Red Sunday hat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Memorial Day camos. My favorite.
Mute him. Though. I can't reach his microphone to pull him away. So
well, Dorf doesn't have something.
I buy the Tigers Memorial Day hat.
I know
year.
you do, but you don't have anything on right now.
Because I come from a professional organization.
Hey,
so do I. I went home and took a shower.
Shawn, can you have me one of those jerseys over there?
3 minutes from your house.
No, it's okay. Just hand me not that one. Not that one. Yeah,
it's
that
got
one.
like 6 jerseys in a pile.
Here.
No,
put that one on.
No. County Bear. Show people what it is. Put me on camera real quick. This is Soviet Red Army. Adam's Soviet Red Army jersey from Vladimir Konstantinov.
Yeah, Vladimir Konstantinov. Anyways. Bought that off eBay. Good price.
Oh, we could have got him the Brewers helmet over there.
Yeah, because that'll fit my giant dome.
It fits my head, and I have a big ass head.
We have the same size head. I think we actually all wear the same size head.
Fine, give me the Brewers hat.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, never mind. That's not good.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. I was about to call you like John Olerud, but you are John Olerud.
There we go.
Oh, I love it.
I'm safe. I got my helmet on.
Okay, good. We're all set here.
This is a really tight fit.
Title of tonight's show: Fairweather fans, scum of the sports world? Question mark. We'll get to it in just a little bit. Fan question tonight: do the Caps need to panic over their 18-point loss to the Pacers in Game 1? We'll get to that towards the end of the show. We're going to go ahead and start with the blow-by-blow tonight. Starting with Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was released by the Dallas Cowboys. Was that over the weekend or Friday?
Friday.
Friday.
Something like that.
Was it Friday?
Friday.
Yeah.
Paperwork might have not been officially processed till later, but...
Yeah, released by the Dallas Cowboys. Hasn't been very productive, so I can certainly see why the Dallas Cowboys were looking to get rid of him.
Very, very injury-prone as well.
Very injury-prone. Somewhat of an issue still off the field with them, or with him. I get it. I get why Jerry Jones wants to move away from Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant, too, may be one of those guys where he needs a change of scenery. Dez Bryant may be, in fact, the poster child of a player that needs a change of scenery. So is there any real loser or winner in this sense right now, considering Dez Bryant hasn't been productive? Maybe he's not in the best situation with, and I don't think Dallas has the best quarterback going forward with Dak Prescott sitting there chucking passes to them. And maybe it's not the best situation for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys to continue to pay this guy the money that they're paying him when he just hasn't been productive on the field. I don't know. Your thoughts, guys?
No, I agree with you 100% on this because Dez Bryant, has he even played a full season in the past 3 years?
I don't believe so, but
Yeah.
it certainly doesn't also help him being a basket. Stop. It's my helmet. Leave me alone.
Go ahead.
It certainly doesn't. I can't look at myself on the camera and not laugh. Doesn't help that he's also a basket case on and off the field, throwing temper tantrums on the sideline. The only one
He's like this
on
generation.
that sideline not acting professionally. This generation's Terrell Owens, except Terrell Owens was really good.
Oh, yeah,
Same thing with Chad Johnson too. They were both
Keyshawn
exceptionally
Johnson,
good.
same thing.
Yep. All of them exceptional. Randy Moss, to a lesser extent, he was more off the field.
Well, Randy Moss was undoubtedly the best wide receiver in the game when he was playing.
True.
So I could certainly understand it from Randy Moss.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it from both standpoints here. I don't know if Dez Bryant should be as angry as he is, though, when it comes to getting his walking papers from the Dallas Cowboys. If anything, he should be happy.
You got out of a place that doesn't want you.
You got out of a place that doesn't want you. You got out of a place that's not working. I mean, Dez, look at your stats.
He hasn't had a good season since 2014. Last year, actually, he played in all 16 games. 2016 played in 13 games and only had 800 yards receiving. And then 2015 played 9 games, had 400 yards receiving. And then 2014 he played in all 16 games and had 1,300 receiving yards and 16 touchdowns. It's been 4 years since he's actually been good.
He's a fantasy nightmare too.
Yep, and he's 30 years old now.
Okay.
I took him in fantasy this year.
Man, he was a nightmare, wasn't he?
He was I got him in the 11th round, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay. So yeah. Anyways, Dez Bryant. I don't know where he's gonna go. It's apparently the Baltimore Ravens are interested. It sounds like he wants to stay in the NFC East to try to stick it to the Cowboys. I don't know if that's quite gonna happen. Dorf, you took a look and you made the you've drawn the conclusion that nobody in the NFC East needs a wide receiver. But there's always Dan Snyder.
Dan Snyder could Dan Snyder all over the Dan Snyder place. And Dan Snyder him into a 5-year deal. I mean, you could Albert Hainsworth him.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Dez Bryant wasn't worth $16 million a year to the Cowboys. So here's 20, Dez. Punk.
Please come here. Please play for us. And he'd play there for 2 years.
A year and a half and get cut with guaranteed money still left. Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of other players getting their walking papers, C.J. Anderson released by the Denver Broncos today. Surprised? Is this another guy that needs a change of scenery? What do you guys think?
Yes. They keep bringing in so many different running backs around him, and it's stealing his play. Obviously, they need the quarterback. Quarterbacks hurt them.
They never obviously thought highly of him because despite his immense production, he was never, the guy.
Mm-hmm. But he rushes for over 1,000 yards. So I just don't understand why he wasn't the guy. I'm bringing up his stats right now, and last year was the only year that he rushed for over 1,000 yards, but they just never gave him the ball.
Really. So he is coming off a productive.
What was his yards per carry?
Yards per carry was 4.1.
Okay, league average is under that. So
so that's the thing. Is last year was actually
he catch the ball in the backfield too.
Right. Last year was the first season he actually started all 16 games and he rushed for over 1,000 yards.
What do you know?
Right. So it's they finally gave him the opportunity to be the full-time starter, and he rushed for over 1,000 yards, and then gets released.
So where do you guys think he goes? It seems like there's going to be, rushing over 1,000 yards, his yards per carry was still above league average.
Yeah.
Seems like this is a guy that's gonna find a job pretty quick.
He'll end up somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
He's only got 5 years of NFL miles on the tires too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised if he doesn't end up in a place like Indianapolis, like San Francisco, somewhere like that.
Possibly maybe Green Bay. Think so?
They kind of have two. They kind of drafted 2 guys last year. They're pretty much the same player.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Williams, and I forget the other guy's name. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of anywhere. I mean, Baltimore, you could see him end up there too.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll have a job somewhere in this league.
Washington, maybe.
I don't know about that. Rob Kelly's kind of the same player too, and Rob Kelly's better.
Rob Kelly's been injured so much.
True.
Yeah. So.
But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's Why did Denver get rid of him?
Don't know. They just saved
I think
what
it's probably-
$4.5 million.
Irreconcilable contract differences.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Probably. I can't say. Excuse me. He didn't flip shit on Twitter and air his dirty laundry, so we can't say for sure.
Anyways,
At least he hasn't yet.
anybody watch that Manchester United West Brom match yesterday?
No, because we aren't losers.
No, nobody watched it.
Just you.
Ouch. He didn't even let me even answer. He just assumed that I didn't watch it.
Did you watch it?
I watched a little bit of it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, disappointing outcome for Manchester United. They end up losing to West Brom, who is set to be.
Are they getting relegated?
They are. Yep, they are going to get relegated. I believe they're last. I think they're dead last in Premier League. I'm pretty sure. I think it's them, Stoke City, and I forget who else.
West Brom is last. Stoke City, Southampton, Swansea City are in the bottom 4 spots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but only the bottom three get
Bottom 3 get relegated.
bottom three get regulated.
Although it is a tie for that last spot. All those games played, isn't it? Points. No, so Swansea City is a 5-point bump over Southampton.
Okay.
Relegation.
So yeah, they end up losing Manchester United, that is, at home to West Brom, and because of that,
Man City wins
Man
the title.
City wins the Premier League title, and they deserve it too. They had an amazing season. They're gonna go
28-3-2.
Yeah, they're gonna go out and play the Champions League, and
Or
they're gonna
2-3. Sorry.
and they're going to be obviously one of the favorites playing in there as well. So, but the biggest surprise was Manchester United losing to arguably the worst team in Premier League yesterday at
It's
home.
not arguably, they are.
Yeah, in a game too that
That was only their 4th win on the year.
West Brom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a bad team. Disappointed too. Arsenal lost yesterday as well. I think they lost. Who they lose to? Newcastle, I think it was.
Yes, they had tied. It says 2-2.
No, they lost yesterday. They lost 1-0. It was either Saturday or yeah.
Oh, right here. It was 14th, so that was
They lost
Saturday.
1-0. Yeah, they
that's
lost
right.
1-0.
Mm-hmm.
That's my team. That's my adopted team in Premier League. Is the Arsenal. So, anyways, moving right along. Big baller expansion. Jordan Crawford looks like he's going to be the next guy to be endorsed by Big Baller Brand. So, Big Baller Brand gets their first non-baller, and it looks like it's probably going to be Jordan Crawford, who is getting a shipment of shoes and apparel from the.
Don't
from the
worry,
Big
it'll
Baller
only
Brand.
take 8 weeks because of site mismanagement.
Well, no, I'm sure they're going to get him his
His
right
will come
away.
first.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to get him his right away. Have any of you guys read the reviews on?
Oh, they're fucking horrible.
Yeah, they're
on
really
I mean,
bad.
I'm not talking about customer service, but
I was talking
like-
about customer service.
but product. Has anybody read the reviews? Because I haven't. I don't know the quality.
Oh.
I just know
I
they're.
don't know, let's pull them up.
I'm waiting for the quality of it's like gonna be like Starberry products.
Well, I know they're
Or-
expensive as all shit. I've never read the reviews on them.
I
I don't know if they're good or not, or I'm assuming they have to be. They have to be, considering you're paying a shit ton of money for them.
Hopefully.
Do you guys have it?
No,
There's
he's
no
gonna-
like review site. I just have a bunch of blogs like, review the Zoe 2.
No, that means they're bad then if they're not. How does a company not have reviews?
Well, I'll pull up Big Baller Brand.
Come on, Dorf, where
I
you
was hoping
at?
to find an industry website with a bunch of reviews tabulated from all over.
You have
the
your
place.
helmet on. You should be quick at this.
That's what they should be doing.
Yeah, it's keeping all the brain power in.
Anyways, let's move on though. New NCAA kickoff rule. I don't know what you guys think of this. During the kickoff, player can fair catch it at within the 25 and have the ball placed at the 25-yard
So
line.
for onside kicks?
No,
Oh,
for on kickoffs. If you could fair catch it anywhere between the back of the end zone all the way up to the 25-yard line. If you fair catch it anywhere in there, you automatically get the ball at the 25-yard line.
I don't like that.
They do not have reviews on their site, by the way.
No,
I don't like that at all.
that means they have a shit product.
That's not fair. Like it should be. Then you're gonna do the same thing for punting, because if fair catch is on the 10-yard line,
No, they're not doing it from punting.
that's not fair at all. That's dumb.
Punts have the.
So if he catches on the 10-yard
catch
line, you
protection.
fair catch it, and guess what? You're gonna move up to the 25-yard line no matter what. That's so dumb.
No, it's all in the name of safety. That's what they're trying to do, is to mitigate the kickoffs even more. Look, I don't know. Dorf, what do you think?
I get it, and I still think you won't see a lot of teams taking advantage of said touchback rule that's not into the end zone, because at that point, hang time isn't all that great because there is a shortage of quality NCAA kicking. Then it's going to be worth it in the field position battle to catch it and run. Unlike the NFL, where those guys can boom it and hang it, where they could still catch it inside the 5 and end up not making it back to the 20 because of the the coverage team is so damn fast too. I don't see it being used. It's a good try. It's a harmless rule, generally speaking, but yeah, I don't think it'll do anything overall.
So you think they're just going to catch it outside?
If you're going to catch it without, you're going to need some monstrous hang time for it to not be worth to try and run it out, even from the 10 inside the 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth giving it a shot.
All right. Anyways, though, moving right along. So no big baller.
No big baller like star reviews or anything like that.
No,
definitely not on their website, and I can't find anything.
That's a bad look then. That probably means that they that they're not very good. I did hear
they have a 2-star rating on the Better Business Bureau.
Well, yeah, that's because of customer service. I don't necessarily think that's like
they have 250 reviews on the BBB. They have an F rating.
They have 250 reviews on the Better Business Bureau.
Let's review some of the customer complaints.
Okay, go ahead.
Right.
Are you looking for a good one?
Ordered a classic crew neck original blankety blank. It was standard order with 7-10 days delivery period. It's now day 9 and I late. Okay. Shipping issue. Products defective. Details unavailable. Paid for a sweatshirt for my child nearly 2 months ago. I was told there would be a wait, but it never came. There's been a pest to get an email to the company. First they responded, then they stopped. Then they provided me with this link that I cannot provide, but had no resolution. Please help me come to the quickest resolution possible. I don't want to wait any longer. If I can't get the product ASAP, I expect a full refund. Desired solution. Please deliver my item right away. Item is lost in transit. We're sending you a new one. I am rejecting this response since I still have not received this package after an additional 2 weeks, and this youth large, or finally received it after an additional 2 weeks, and this youth large fits like a youth small. This is bullshit.
Oh, I'm sure that youth sweatshirt too is probably like $70-$80.
Probably.
So
it's terrible.
And Dorf knows how much that shit is wholesale.
I do. And so do you.
And so do I. Anyways.
It ain't that much, let's put it that way.
No, it's definitely not. And I'm sure it's even cheaper for a big baller brand to get into.
Because they in California, man. Imported all the cheap shit from China. It's cheaper.
Yep.
Than having to fly or drive it or fly it across the country to get it over here.
Absolutely. Anyways, moving along here. Let's go ahead and get to our bitches and badasses this week. Badasses. Let's get it started. Do you want me to? I'll start it this week.
Okay. Finally!
I'll start it this week.
Take the lead, boss man.
All right. My badass this week is Big Sexy himself. No,
Big
not
Bart.
Dorf. Not Dorf.
Big Bart?
Yes. Bartolo Colon flirting with a perfect game last night against the Houston Astros. What was it, broken up in the 8th inning?
Yeah, he walked a Carrera, and then JJ Redick.
Who are you thinking of?
Josh Reddick.
That's better.
He got a single right after that in the 8th.
All right. So Bartolo Colon still
chugging along at 44.
Chugging along at 44.
Chugga.
Yeah, and
he was hitting the 90s, pretty good on his fastball.
And look, this is a guy that didn't have a major league contract when the regular season started. He had to sign that minor league deal, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So, Bartolo Colon chugging right along. Dorf, go ahead.
My badass this week is going to be Royals pitcher Blaine Boyer. After the team bus that he was riding had a piece of ice fall off and bust through the driver's side window, injuring the driver, ran up front and helped the driver who had glass in his face get the bus pulled over to the side of the road safely and without injuring anybody else further. Driver's actually going to be okay. The Royals were delayed, but eventually made it to the stadium. So Blaine Boyer for being a everyday hero is my badass this week.
Oh, good for him. Shawnee Poo, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna go with the New York Mets and their pitching staff.
Historically good start.
Oh my gosh, they're what 12-2 right now. Their starting pitchers have an ERA combined under 2.
And them and the Angels, man, are running away with shit.
So
already.
and then I don't know if you guys saw Syndergaard pitch the other day. Like his movement on his two-seam fastball. Oh my god, that's not fair. When it's 100 miles an hour and it's moving almost a foot, that is just ridiculous.
Life isn't fair.
That is just ridiculous. And then tonight, in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Mets are beating the Nationals 2-1, and DeGrom already has 10 strikeouts with only 73 pitches.
Who would have thought? Mets were supposed to be awful this year. Yeah, they bring up.
Hey, they can pitch.
Yes, and they can hit kind of.
They got so many outfielders; they don't know what to do with them all. And Adrian Gonzalez is actually being all right. So, but speaking of the Mets organization, Tim Tebow. He's 1 for 14 since hitting his leadoff home run to start the year.
I was gonna say, what could make the Mets better though?
Yeah,
more exciting.
He's hitting 133 on the year with a .333 slugging percentage.
I was gonna say, what could make the Mets better though? More exciting is Tim Tebow.
Yes, because they already have too many corner outfielders. They already have Brandon Nimmo blocked.
He doesn't have to play.
I just want him to see. I just want to see him pinch hit late.
Yeah,
they just need to move Jay Bruce to first base. I'm sorry, I said it.
To bring Tim Tebow up?
No,
I agree. Let's do it.
To put Brandon Nimmo in the lineup every day.
I just want to see Tim Tebow playing.
We're forever going to have the Tim Tebow.
That's funny.
Anyways, bitches this week. Sean, go ahead.
I'm actually going to keep it with the baseball. I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs pitching staff. Wow, are they awful. Yu Darvish has been awful. John Lester's been awful. Hendricks has been awful. Chatwood's been awful.
The weather's been awful.
Quintana's been awful. Everybody has a 4+ ERA, and this has been awful.
Anthony Rizzo's hurt, too.
Yeah, Rizzo should be coming back within the next couple of days. Chris Bryant even hasn't had that good of a start. I mean, he's okay now.
It is freezing fucking cold in Chicago.
Is anybody surprised, though, that Yu Darvish isn't pitching that well?
I mean, he's Yu Darvish.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't that seem like kind of a... whatever.
Inevitable downfall? Yeah,
sure. I don't know. I'm not totally surprised with that, but I'm not all that surprised to it. Hendricks not pitching all that well.
In the cold? Me either.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing this, though, come middle of June.
Okay. I disagree with your assessment of the situation.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I don't care.
You're going.
Dorf, who's your bitch?
My bitch this week is the University of Michigan football team. You're too much of a pussies to play your spring game in the winter. I mean, the rain, freezing rain of April. Everybody else did it. Quit being a bitch. Play your game.
I
don't care if only 10,000 people show up. It's negative for the brand. Play your game outside.
I was at my mother-in-law's yesterday.
Maybe it'll help you win games in the fall.
I was at my mother-in-law's yesterday, and
I'm sorry.
It was whatever. Dinner, whatever. It's cool. And my wife got a blanket for her brother. Which, she's sitting on the couch, wanted a blanket. And there's a Michigan blanket. She's like, "Oh, this is really soft." I'm like, "Yeah, just like the football team."
That's actually pretty funny.
Sick bird, bro.
And then he started bringing up stuff about, this is not Nash or you. You're right. Yeah, Michigan didn't have to deal with Larry Nassar, have to, do all this stuff with Larry Nassar. But, I mean, I'm not wrong when I say that Michigan does have a soft football team.
Yeah.
And Dorf's bitch is further proof of that. Did Michigan State have their spring game?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Played it outside when it was windy and 36.
Yeah, like men. At a school that likes to cover up for.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's
Sorry, Dorf.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dorf. I'm very
Who's your bitch?
Oh, my bitch this week is Manchester United for everything that I said before. Can't try my game to West Brom like that. What are you doing at home? 1-0? Or I'm sorry, 1-0? On your home pitch?
On the home pitch? In a game of footy?
They don't really call it footy, do
Yeah,
they?
they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Just in England, right?
Hopefully.
They don't do it anywhere else.
Not that I'm aware of.
That's something they can only do in England.
I'm not sure, but I know it.
Are they gonna do that? Are they then calling it footy in Italy or
I don't know.
Spain?
I know they do in England for sure.
Probably not. The silly nannies.
Silly nannies.
Oh, that's great.
That is a very, very good episode of Family Guy.
That's probably one of my favorite ones.
Put on my PJs and have a pillow fight with you. But our main event topic for tonight, though, is Derek Thompson. That's his name. Yep, got it right. Of The Atlantic, wrote this article entitled "American Sports Needs More Fair Weather Fans." And it was interesting in the sense because the term, the wording, the term, whatever it is you want to call it, fair weather fan is and I thought it was a good compare. It is a slur within the sports world.
It is a derogatory statement.
Yes.
By hardcore fans.
Yes. Towards somebody. I still maintain after reading this that it's not good to be a fair weather fan. Again, relatively speaking, because we are talking about sports. In the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
So, to be fair, before we go any further, how does the author define fair weather fan?
You see, to me, and it's interesting you bring that up, Dorf, because because he's sitting here and he's talking about certain aspects here.
Because this is my primary gripe with this. I don't think he has a consistent or definition.
I don't think he does either. Because, for instance, he talks about the Yankees. And he talks about his
experience growing up as a Yankees fan who's not from New York.
Exactly. He grew up in Derek Thompson of The Atlantic, who wrote this article, grew up in the Washington area,
Virginia,
the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area, where sports wasn't that, where the teams during his time of upbringing weren't that good. And he goes on to say that the Orioles weren't good, the Bulls weren't good, and nobody cared about the Capitals. And his parents weren't big on it either. His uncle, however, was. And his uncle was from New York City, where the Yankees are good seemingly almost every single year, at least as long as we can remember sitting here at this table. So he was a Yankees fan from a very young age. Yet, later on in the article, he goes on and he talks about, cheering for the Cleveland Cavaliers when they were in the NBA Finals and LeBron was winning his championship. And he was sitting there jumping up and down and hugging and getting all jovial with everybody there at the bar. And I'm with you, and I don't know if that's the same look you have on it, Dorf, but I can certainly see where you're coming from when you say he doesn't give a good definition in terms of what a true fair weather fan is. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
To me, a fair weather fan is not how he's described it.
So
Often you hear people that we would call slappies describe us as fair weather fans because we don't, cheer our team, our relative teams that we're fans of, even when they're bad or they're doing something that's ill-advised or et cetera, et cetera. Then the pejorative of fair weather fan is often slapped on us.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he has defined it as the one that they only pay attention or they bandwagon. He's described a bandwagon fan. He hasn't described a fair weather fan.
You're absolutely right,
He's
Dorf.
described bandwagoning.
And you know what? I think that what he did, and I invited
just change fair weather to bandwagon,
and he has it right.
And then the article is entirely right.
Yes. No, you know what? I didn't catch that, Dorf.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. That would be my same
Fairweather is
viewpoint
only
on it, too.
is only rooting for the same team when they're good.
But you know what he's doing though? He does get that in a sense. He does get that in the sense with the LeBron thing.
But he's arguing that hopping around. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily need to be region or geographically based.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can still follow whatever team for whatever reason. Just don't hop around like you've seen. You see so many NBA fans do this specifically. You know, all of a sudden there's a million Warriors fans where, you know, 5 years ago they couldn't tell you what city Golden State played in
Mm-hmm.
California.
Sure.
I bet you most of them still can't.
Probably.
Still don't know what they play in Oakland.
Yeah, probably not. Well, getting ready to move to San Francisco, but same general.
Okay, they're moving what, 10 miles?
Going across the bridge, going across the bay. Yeah, go ahead.
Whatever. It's different. You know, to bandwagon, I would say, as a sports fan, is something that should be, you know, discouraged or frowned upon,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily bad. You know what? Your sport is ultimately more healthy when more people care about it. There's more money involved, which means the product's going to be better, et cetera, et cetera. You shouldn't mind. Now, Bob at the office is all of a sudden now a Vegas Golden Knights fan.
Mm-hmm.
When you live in, Virginia, because, Vegas is, I've been a Vegas fan for years. Okay, Bob, they've only been around for one. Hold your horses.
Less than.
Yeah, less than one. Stuff like that. I mean, that's annoying. And you can call, and then all of a sudden Bob next year is a fan of the San Jose Sharks because they're the #1 seed, the proverbial favorite. That's the kind of stuff that you can give people shit for. But being a fair weather fan, I don't think you can, because you know what? It comes back down to what sports is for most people. It's that escape from reality. It's that beckoning back or accessing your inner childhood where when you played the game, where everything was perfect for you. You didn't have a care in the world. You're trying to escape. For most people, this is what sports is. It's the escape from the, sullen suffering, let's call it, of daily life. Then there's the sickos where it's their, the dying, they live and breathe it.
They live and die with each win or loss.
And it affects their mood and et cetera, et cetera. And how dare you talk bad about my team? Then there's that kind of fan who's mentally ill, if you ask me. I mean, I don't want to throw that around flippantly, but needs their priorities adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then then there's the casual or fair weather fan, and that's okay, because if the teams you watch or the teams you're a fan of are depressing because they're awful, and you're trying to use that to escape your dull, depressing life, you don't need that. You don't need that in your life, and I can't blame you for not watching.
No, if
that's what you use sports for. If sports is your release and your escape from reality, I can't blame you for being a fair weather fan if your team sucks. Being a bandwagon fan, I'll get after you about that, because you're obviously a fan enough to hop around every year, pick a team and stick with it.
But you know what, too, Dorf? You're not a real fan if you're a bandwagon fan. I know that may be a surface argument, and people are probably out there saying,
people like to vote for and hitch their wagon to winners.
Yeah, and
why do you think so much of presidential politics and advertisement is all about projecting, convincing you to vote for our guy because they're going to win?
Well, believe I saw it. I saw it especially in.
It was this most recent presidential election cycle, from this aspect, it wasn't unique. It's always been like that.
Yes,
that's psychology 101.
It may have been even more prominent given the candidate, especially on the Republican side, who wasn't a traditional Republican, yet that's the guy, so I'm going to get 100% behind him just because he has the R next to his name, even though he may not be.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. It's so much of you saw specifically down the stretch of the campaign from let's call it left of center commentators. Mm-hmm. Vote for Hillary because she's going to win. She's the 99% chance she's going to win. So you should, if you're going to vote for the other guy, just stay home. You don't want to vote for a loser.
Actually, you know what? It might not be this one might be a bad example considering a lot of people may have been voting for the lesser of two evils.
That's every vote in the first past the post. First past the post is the technical name for our style of election.
I think
without preferential elections, you're mostly
because
in two-party system. You're voting for the
because
lesser of two evils.
well, I think it's especially the case in this one because you had two historically bad candidates running.
Absolutely.
As far as this goes, though,
better spoken is the candidate you dislike least.
When it comes to this, though, Dorf, I don't disagree with you, and I don't have any problem with that fan that disengages themselves from that hometown team that they root for because that particular team isn't winning. I can't blame them for that. We live in a city in Detroit that has certainly have had their fair share of teams that are either performing or they're not performing, and if they're not performing, then people don't show up for it. And again, why should people go out there and spend their hard-earned money on a team that sucks? And unfortunately, right now here in Detroit, we have three and a half teams that suck. 3.5 teams that suck. The jury is still out on the Detroit Lions, but that is still yet to be seen with their 2018 season. But I totally agree with you with the bandwagon thing, though. I cannot stand bandwagon fans. To me, bandwagon fans are not real fans. In every single aspect. You know what? There may be something wrong, deeper psychologically, with somebody who consistently hops around with a bandwagon. With that bandwagon mentality. I mean, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything like that. But I mean, you have to think that somebody constantly needing that sense of victory or that sense of winning and whatever, there has to be something wrong with them, that they're filling the void within their life with somebody that they need to see constantly winning.
And I have a reason I think why this is specifically with younger fans, because marketing of sports has shifted from marketing of teams to marketing of individual stars. So you see
you have the fantasy aspect too,
and plus fantasy sports for the older folks. You're right. I was going to get to that, but correct. You don't see the NBA marketing teams. You see them marketing stars. Mm-hmm. Now, in the case of like Golden State, they happen to have three guys that at least two that you could market as stars. So then they can get away with, two birds with one stone and market a team there. But they're marketing stars. Mm-hmm. Look at all the attention Ben Simmons has been getting of late. And it's not how the attention necessarily advertising or promoting, Philly or the 76ers. It's come watch Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm. That's,
you're seeing the same thing in baseball with it. It's all about marketing Bryce Harper and Mike Trout. And to lesser extent other players throughout the league, but it's not advertising and promoting teams as wholes. That's why you're seeing a lot more. I don't want to call the kids fair weather fans. They're fans of the stars. They're not fans of the teams. Whether that's a problem or not, I don't know.
I don't think that's necessarily a problem, being a fan of one particular player, and because you know what, it's unavoidable. If that particular player is doing well or they're doing really well, then especially in the NBA, then that team is probably going to be doing well. I mean, let's face it. If LeBron James is playing very, very well, then the Cleveland Cavaliers are probably going to be playing very, very well that season. That may not necessarily be the case in football. Take, for instance, Aaron Rodgers. I've had Aaron Rodgers on my fantasy team for a few years now.
Yeah, lucky keeper bastard.
I've grown to like Aaron Rodgers a lot. And in fact, I'm a Lions fan. I haven't had a deep hatred for the Packers like maybe a lot of Lions fans probably do. My deep hatred in this division, in the NFC North, goes towards Chicago and Minnesota. I can't stand those two fucking teams. That's not to say that I don't want to see, Detroit beat Green Bay every single time they play them. I definitely want to see that. Uh-huh. But my big time hatred in that division is more reserved for Chicago and then Minnesota, and then Green Bay. Is that in part due to Aaron Rodgers? I don't know, maybe. But I'm not going to go out there and buy Green Bay Packers shit just because of Aaron Rodgers. I like Bryce Harper, and I know you do too, Dorf. I'm not going to go out and, well, I do want to get a Washington Nationals hat.
I really do too.
But I'm not. But I'll tell you what. I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to go out.
I've liked Bryce Harper since the day of the clown. That's a clown question, bro.
And I've liked him too since then. But I'm not going to go out and buy a Bryce Harper jersey or anything like that. I'm wearing a Toronto Blue Jays hat right now.
Because you like the hat.
Well, I like the team too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you ask me, my second favorite team in the American League is probably the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay.
I don't know. For some reason,
If you're allowed to have second teams, I'd go with the Cardinals.
I know, and I've talked with you about that before. And Sean's is
The Rockies.
The Rock. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a huge
I don't get that one.
I've always been a huge Rockies fan.
But again, if the Tigers were in a 7-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays, I'm not going to sit here and start rooting for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Right.
I'm not even going to start rooting for the Toronto Blue Jays if they end up pulling ahead in the series against the Tigers. That's just not something I'm going to do. And this is my problem with bandwagon fans is they're not even. I don't even think they're being disingenuous to themselves. They're being disingenuous to the other true fans of said particular team.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sean Dorf, could you imagine yourself going out and cheering for the Chicago White Sox?
Hell no.
Or the Cleveland Indians?
Hell no.
Can you guys even
I can here's the deal. I can separate fandom from enjoying watching a team. The Cleveland Indians are incredibly fun to watch.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Not a fan of them, but
that's totally different than what Adam's trying to say.
Okay, but if the Tigers piss you off, you're like,
I'm not going to switch to the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, am I going to go be a Chicago
fan? That's a true fan right there.
But you know what? This is kind of what this guy is arguing. No, it's not kind of. This is exactly what this guy is arguing.
That you should jump ship.
Yeah, that you should jump ship. Because you know what? If your team's not doing it for you, then you might as well go latch onto a winner. Why? Yeah. I call bunk on him that this guy here, this Derek Thompson, isn't a true sports fan. People.
He's not a sports writer by trade either. We need to realize that.
What is he?
He's an economics writer.
Okay.
His primary focus for the Atlantic is economics.
Okay, so he's not a sports. He's not a sports.
He's
fan
not
by
a sports
trade.
writer by trade. No.
Writer, fan. He's neither by trade. I don't think he's a sports fan by trade. I don't think
he's a casual fan trying to justify his bandwagonness.
Exactly. I can't do it. I can't go out and imagine myself becoming a Chicago Blackhawks fan. I cannot do it. I can't imagine myself being a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, and a Colorado Avalanche fan.
What's going to make us change now after everything that we've seen our teams go through? How bad the Lions have been, how bad the Pistons have been, how bad the Tigers have been.
Hey, people in this neck of the woods are suckers. They put up with it for so long, where you don't see that in other necks of the woods. But again, maybe one of those locality biases.
Again, though, Dorf, it's different, though, because I don't know about... Look, I'm sure we all know a bunch of Lions fans here.
Mm-hmm.
You got 3 in the room.
Yes. And I know that each one of us sitting at this table we've disengaged ourselves at certain points of the season when the Lions have played like shit. Am I lying?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't disengaged yourself?
I've downshifted, but I have not.
Yeah. That's okay.
I haven't put it in neutral or taken the keys out of the ignition.
Yeah. Okay, you're bringing up synonyms here. I think we're talking about the same thing.
Okay.
I'm not.
I didn't check out and go #Lions free.
Okay. Because nobody's ever lied. If you're a fan of a particular team, you're never completely, totally free of them. Because you know what? If you're totally, completely free, that means you're never coming back. And every single time that a team starts getting good, everybody starts coming back again. So downshifted, if that's the way you want to put it, Dorf, that's fine. But we've all had that point in time where we've looked at one of our teams and are like, you know what? I've got to take a little bit of a break this year from it just because I can't sit here and watch this team on a day-to-day basis right now.
I did that with the Pistons a little bit this year.
Okay.
So
we've done it.
Right.
We've done it in some certain in some regard with each one of our teams. Does anybody sitting at this table know anybody who is a fan, and if you want to put quote unquote true fan of the Pistons, of the Lions, of the Red Wings, or of the Tigers that have picked up and are like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to be a Chicago Bulls fan now. Does anybody sitting here know anybody that it's done that?
Yes.
Who?
Former Major Sports Network contributor Russell Brown.
Oh yeah, I know. That's a special circumstance. And you know what? That is...
He got sick of the fans of a certain college institution and jumped ship because he was sick of the fans.
You know what though? I might go ahead and vouch for Downtown in a sense on this one.
His sincerity in that move, yes.
I will say this. College might be a little bit different, and I'll tell you why.
At the time, he hadn't attended either. He now attends the one he switched to.
He now attends the team that he switched to. At the time when he did switch, he didn't go to either school. If he went to the school that he switched from, I guarantee you he probably wouldn't have done that.
Probably not.
If you're a fan of, if you went to Florida State, you don't just pick up and say, I'm a Florida fan now. Doesn't happen. Or a Miami fan. That doesn't happen. College is a special breed of lunacy that exists out there in sports fandom. So I can see where he's coming from in that sense. I will question how much of a fan he actually was of the team that he switched from, but I get it in some regard. But when you're a fan of a particular professional sports team, again, you are brought up liking that team in a lot of sense from when you were little. So there is no backtracking from it. And you can't help yourself but go out and say, oh, I'm going to go out and cheer for this team now and actually be genuine about it, because that's not going to happen. And Derek Thompson goes and brings up a bunch of, he brings up the money and how leagues limit, how many teams can be in one particular market. And I think that's a bunch of bullshit, because you know what? None of that has money. Doesn't have a whole lot to do with somebody being a true actual fan of a particular sports team. And you know what? There's a reason too. You can't mix the business side of an organization with a fan side of an organization. Because in a lot of circumstances, if you are mixing the two, then that team is going to be hurting financially. If you go ahead and put a bunch of different teams in one market, what's going to happen to that market?
Oversaturation.
Absolutely. And you see it all the time. It doesn't even have to be a specific market. It can be a specific state. What the hell's going on in Florida right now with baseball? Too many fucking teams. You have 2 teams in that city or that state.
Not enough fans.
Not enough fans to go around. You see it happening in California with basketball and hockey. There's no reason why California needs 3 fucking hockey teams. 2 in the LA area. No reason at all. There's no reason why Florida needs 2 hockey teams. None of that plays into the issue and the debate of fair weather fan, bandwagon fan. Because you know what Dorf was talking about earlier, if you have a shitty owner who doesn't spend money on their team, what are fans going to do? They're going to take the foot off the gas. They're going to put it into neutral. And they're not gonna care as much until the other team starts coming around. That may be the true definition of a bandwagon or a fair weather fan. Not what this guy is talking about. Dorf made a good point of that. Anything else with this, you guys? No?
You pretty much explained.
In retrospect, I would love to try and get this guy on, but I think we're kind of a little bit too small potatoes for him, I'm sure.
Yeah. Perhaps.
Did you just find this morning?
Yeah.
That's probably not enough time to book him, but whatever. Hey,
I mean, he
good find.
He puts together. He
Not
puts
bad from the communist rag you found it from, but
maybe that's why it attracted me so much.
Ew.
Where's my Soviet notion on it, though?
Surprised you haven't put that on the sounder.
Okay, I'm not.
You're not against it?
What?
Putting a Soviet national anthem on
I'm
the
not for
soundboard?
this. Hey, man. According to the political test, I'm not for the Soviet Union. I'm the other end of. I'm south.
You're south of the
Yeah, he's
equator.
over with me.
I'm south of the
The equator?
statism that is the left.
All right, anyway.
And yes, it is a thing. Tune in tomorrow night for Politics of the Empire at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time over on theempiremedia.com.
And I'm going to tell him he's wrong about that, but we're going to save that for tomorrow.
Okay. Our stupid shit of the week resides with Major League Baseball.
Putting games in the north.
That too. Okay, they had Jackie Robinson Day over the weekend.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the different hats that Major League Baseball has, what is the one hat that you're going to say, you know what?
I shouldn't keep wearing it.
Maybe we shouldn't put the Jackie Robinson commemorative patch on the side of it. And you know what? Maybe we shouldn't even think of selling it. What hat is that going to be?
Chief Wahoo.
Chief Wahoo. What does Major League Baseball do?
They put it on there.
They put the Jackie Robinson commemorative patch on the side of the Chief Wahoo hat and put it up for sale on shopmlb.com. Now, they did take it down not that far after, but again, just how does this get past whatever it is
They
you want
need
to call
to hire a better PR firm.
Yeah,
I know, but you know what? Again,
They need to hire or promote somebody to chief publicity officer. Just an outside investigator, outside counselor, outside firm that, hey, we're thinking about doing something. Anyway, this makes us look dumb.
But I don't know if it's that. I don't know if they're just totally, oblivious to it, or they just still don't give a shit about it. Because they say they give a shit about it, and they've I don't even want to say they've tried to get Cleveland to stop doing it, to stop using it. But yet, when they say they've done that, Cleveland goes out and wears it for an entire postseason. And then when they say they've done it again, Cleveland removes it, but you could still buy merchandise with Chief Wahoo on it. They're just not going to wear it on the field anymore.
Yeah, I think wasn't the plan to be officially done with it at the end of this season? Like, entirely?
I don't know.
I thought
Maybe.
that's what the plan was.
Why do you need a 3-year plan for this?
I don't think you do. I'm not saying you do.
I
I'm just
know,
trying to bring up the point that
I know.
I'm just
being rhetorical to you, though, Dorf.
Oh no, I don't disagree with you here. I just thought that they had officially come. God, I can't believe I'm still wearing this helmet. I'm looking at myself in the camera and I can't.
Okay, but
the
Brewers have one of the best logos in sports.
Yeah, I mean that's a great logo. God damn it, I lost where I was. Yeah, it doesn't. Yes, they prescribed a timeline that doesn't make it right, wrong, or other. I mean, you could argue it makes it wrong. It doesn't make it right, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. Train of thought lost.
Let's see. Fan question this week: did the Cavs need to panic over an 18-point loss to the Pacers in Game 1?
Kind of, yes, I think so.
Victor Oladipo is so good.
And you see, LeBron even had a triple-double, but the rest of the team sucks.
Oh, it's because the rest of their team blows.
I know. Kevin Love, he had like 8 points, 17 rebounds.
Okay, Kevin Love is fine. The rest of their team is hot toilet.
Yeah.
I don't call them hot toilet. They did totally.
They're good enough.
They're better than what they were at the beginning of the season. Because remember, they went through and changed essentially their entire team.
Mm-hmm. Should have never traded Kyrie. Should have told him to grow the fuck up.
But it doesn't matter. Kyrie's hurt. He's hurt now. He's not even playing
for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know if Kyrie would have been good though. They may have been in a no-win.
What's it with Boston point guards needing hip surgery?
Was it his hip that went?
I thought it was an ankle.
Yeah, I thought it was his ankle too.
Yeah, I thought it was his ankle.
Okay, lower
Like
body
Achilles
injuries.
tendon or something like that.
I don't know. Bad luck. I don't know. Yeah, it's a shitty situation for them. I mean, I can run with the notion that
It is a knee surgery.
Knee surgery.
I can run with the notion that, you know what? Yeah, Cleveland maybe still is a completely flawed team right now.
Boston might go deep in the playoffs with $50 million with a player on the shelf.
They could.
Yeah.
God damn.
I don't know.
Brad Stevens for Coach of the Year?
Toronto looked really good the other day, too.
Yeah. It's true.
Having trouble, though, with their floor. Did you see that at the beginning of the game?
Mm-hmm.
No, what was going on with it?
The ice was seeping
condensating.
through.
Yeah.
Gotta melt that ice off.
They could have played, man. NBA players
They're
are
such bitches, man.
Pansies, just a little bit of ice, man. Jeez, look at all those people who curl, man. They do the curling.
You know what? Exactly. I don't see them out there with ice skates or complaining.
Exactly.
No, it's too slippery out here. I can't play.
Jeez.
No, I'm with you, man. You can't go out there and play with a little bit of water on the court.
Jeez, you act like you're gonna slip and fall. Pansies. Gosh.
I don't know if it's time to panic after one game.
No, it's the first game. You know, let it get it out of their systems, and you know, I guarantee LeBron went in that locker room, gave him a little pep talk, like.
Or was that pep talk at halftime when they were down by 17 or something?
I think he realized nothing's gonna tell these guys.
You know what though? I don't think Cleveland's gonna win a championship there. I think they're flawed. I think there's problems with that team.
There are better teams around.
Yeah. I just don't know. Look, it's concerning in the sense that yes, they lost by 18 points at home. But it's not time to go into panic mode after one loss in game one. So, anyways, though, Sean, what's with the news this week?
Ex-Steeler and Patriot James Harrison finally retires. The guy's the most in shape NFL player in the league, and he's like 50. He finally gives it up.
38.
Okay, he's been around for a long time, but he retires finally.
Yeah, he played for a bunch of other teams before he broke in.
Hashtag fake news.
Sean, you are an enemy of the people.
Fake news.
You are fake news.
Oh, gosh.
Very fake news.
Anyways, going on, ex-Eagle Daryl Worley. Do you see what happened to him the other day?
He's only an ex-Eagle of like 24 hours.
I know, but still, like
he never even actually played a game.
He was with the Panthers for 2 years.
Swapped in a trade for Torrey Smith.
He actually had a couple of good seasons with them, but he's probably not going to play for a while anymore. He faces 6 charges in all: a DUI, first offense, firearms not to be carried without a license, carrying a firearm in public in Philadelphia, possession of an instrument of crime, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct engaging in fighting a police officer.
Yeah.
What a swell gentleman.
He's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be playing for a while, so we'll see how this thing goes. And then like he had a bail of, I think it was, I can't remember, it was like $60,000, and he paid 21 of it so far, and that's all he could pay.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah, so
money.
Yeah, so
what a dumbass.
Whoops.
I know, like seriously.
What a dumbass.
Mm-hmm. He's only 23 years old.
Huh?
No. See what happens when money
This
gets.
is, playing the Alliance of American Football or whatever they call it.
Yeah, the old new XFL or whatever.
XFL's not for
whatever.
Vince McMahon's
Vince McMahon thing.
XFL's not for 2020.
Or the one that Steve Spurrier's trying to get involved in.
Yeah, the Alliance Football League or whatever.
It'll never get off the ground.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced the XFL will either. But anyway,
XFL will.
I'm not convinced it will.
Vince McMahon sold too much stock in WWE for it not to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, he sold
will do
a
it.
lot. He's gonna do whatever it takes. He'll go bankrupt again.
We never went bankrupt.
Well, I'm saying he
will be in near financial ruin.
Yeah, pretty
okay,
close.
Sean, what's next?
James Harden, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, or Anthony Davis. Who do you guys think wins the MVP?
James Harden.
James Harden will, but a blind stat comparison says LeBron James should. But
what about Russell Westbrook? He averaged a triple-double.
But if you look at all the advanced metrics, LeBron is a better player.
Yeah.
But James Harden won it.
So you guys want it?
Yeah.
And then Tiger finally files for the U.S. Open. Last time he played was 2015. So he put his files in or whatever, so he's going to be playing.
Good for golf.
I know. So golf is, hopefully, like we said before, he's coming back, hopefully.
Hopefully he has a better showing than he did at the Masters.
He still wasn't awful.
He wasn't awful. I'm like, he was okay.
He made it into the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, when are we going to be beyond this now?
Oh, come on. It was his second tournament back.
Well, he's Tiger. It's Tiger Woods.
He's also over 40 years old.
Doesn't mean anything.
So?
That should means that he should be more accurate.
He plays golf.
Yeah. That's all he does.
It's so easy.
It's not like it's incredibly physically demanding.
Yeah.
That a 40-year-old can't go out there and be competitive.
Mm-hmm. Look at
Still means
Phil,
you have to be good.
Look at Phil Mickelson.
Well, he
Yeah,
finished.
when's the last time Phil won anything?
He just won something. I don't know.
He finished worse than Tiger.
Yeah, I was gonna say he won something this year.
He made the cut, but he
Yeah.
finished at the bottom.
Anyway.
Aaron Judge broke Mark McGuire's record, the quickest 60 career home runs today. McGuire's was 202 games, and Judge did it in 197 games.
How about Giancarlo Stanton forgetting how to swing a baseball?
I know.
bat?
Oh man,
Giancarlo Stanton forgetting how to baseball.
Yeah.
25 strikeouts in 14 games.
It's worse than that now.
Are they still booing him?
Probably.
Probably should.
Yeah. And then
he'll come around.
Bryce Harper smashed his 8th home run in 16 games today. He's not a little
He broke
bit of
his
tear.
bat and still
Yeah.
hit 460.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. That's showing some power. But like I said, he's young. Dorf, you said he's in the prime of his life right now. He's like 25 years old.
He's not even at the prime yet.
I think he's only 23.
No, he's 25.
Is he 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a year younger than Trout. Trout's 26.
Okay.
Trout's 26.
Mhm.
God, he's getting old.
He's been in the league since he's been 20 also.
Have to put him out to pasture soon.
But that's going to be it for the news tonight.
All right.
So.
Thank you, Sean.
Mhm.
And that's going to do it this week for the Majors Live. Are we gonna be on next week?
Yes, we're doing 2-hour draft special.
Oh, is next week the 2-hour draft?
Yes,
special?
it is.
All right. So stay tuned for that next week.
2-hour NFL draft special.
All right. So in the meantime,